walk into a convenience store, you're supposed to choose the nuts, but you end up choosing the Cheetos or the Chips Ahoy. You walk into the Walmart diabetes aisle, and it's a sea of medicinal and dated glucerna, which is embarrassing and what we call as otherizing. Hello, everybody. I'm Amy Cohn from Joydays. So imagine you have type 1 or type 2 diabetes, and you just want something to grab and go while you're in the car. Well, the realities right now of shopping when you have a chronic condition are you walk into a convenience store, you're supposed to choose the nuts, but you end up choosing the Cheetos or the Chips Ahoy. You walk into the Walmart diabetes aisle, and it's a sea of medicinal and dated glucerna, which is embarrassing and what we call as otherizing. But this is what the market thinks that you need. You walk into a hospital, and this is the walk that we're walking whenever we have patients that come in or snacks that we're serving to doctors. So the realities of this is that this is a massively underserved market. For people who have chronic conditions, specifically diabetes, you're looking at literally almost 51% of the US, and 60% has a chronic condition. However, and then we're looking also at a problem that's only getting bigger. We're seeing with kids, there's a 95% increase in type 2 diabetes in the last 10 years. A lot of deaths actually could be prevented. There's a lot of studies on this by just simply reducing sugar in packaged foods. And then the cost to medical systems just related to blood sugar imbalances are astronomical. So let's look at the market too in terms of food, of what we're going in. Cookies are a massive category. They're growing. There's a lot of consumers that are wanting healthier options. And then the reduced sugar market is actually growing. And a lot of people actually, surprisingly, this was really interesting, are eating cookies on a daily basis. So enter in Joydays. Joydays are right now a cookie that are blood sugar friendly. I'm Amy Cohn. I'm the founder of Joydays. We're a next generation food company focused on creating accessibility for people with chronic conditions. And our first vertical that we're tackling is blood sugar balance. My background is actually as a tech executive working for large media companies, growing millions of users and developing tech innovation. But 2.5 years ago, I was diagnosed with colon cancer out of the blue, and I changed my career. We really think that the first step habit change in a first step habit change in having any chronic condition is around food. So we reinvented Chips Ahoy, is what we say. A lot of this came from, we polled people with diabetes and we asked them, what do you miss most? And the first answer was cookies. So we have a first in market cookie that is low in sugar. It is grab and go. We are ranking #1 organically on Amazon for diabetic cookies. We have also started to win lots of awards. And more importantly, we're creating a brand that doesn't make you feel otherized. You saw the glucernas of the world. We are trying to create brands that a kid with type 1 can have in their lunchbox, as well as the kid next to them. And equally, anyone with a chronic condition or without can eat it. So like I said, we want to be the first step habit change in food. My background is tech, which is great. That is later step habit change when you are trying to change your diet, trying to do all of these things. But really the first access, particularly in food deserts, is what's on shelf and what you can grab and go. So the path for this is we are first launching in a lot of grocery stores. We have already started to gain traction there. We're at about 55 stores just simply after launching this year. We are working on, we just launched on Amazon. We are looking at going nationally in different places and also looking at hospital systems. And like I said, we're building a new category in food and aisles that have never been disrupted and are antiquated, and trying to make this accessible for everyone. We have an amazing team. My background, like I said, too, we have one of the world's leading endocrinologists and the former president of the American Diabetes Association, top dietitians, top people in CPG, and top people in overall tech to build out a really great team. My asks here are, we are looking for distribution partners. We are looking for hospital systems, people who are working with food pharmacy programs, FSA programs, food as medicine initiatives, particularly the larger federal programs right now, as well as payers incentivizing food purchases. We think that, this is just the start in terms of food pharmacies being able to actually prescribe actual food, and walk the walk and having this accessible. So love to meet you all. Life's sweeter without the spikes.
Amy, thank you for sharing. As a reminder, please put Q&A into the Q&A section of the Zoom. Amy, it really is fascinating to think about, how food could be medicine, and that we typically, as human beings, especially here in this country, don't have the healthiest diets, suffering obesity, suffering from diabetes. How is this different than just teaching people or educating them on what they should be eating?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. We talked about next step habit change. That's education. Yes, we all need to be eating whole foods. Yes, we understand that food deserts need more access to whole foods. But the reality, whenever you, like I said, 2 jobs and you're in your car, you just want to walk into a store and what you choose, because that's untenable for a lot of people. It's untenable for me, even on a daily basis. And so really, we believe that food needs to transition into really focus more on medical and health concerns versus just general better for you and marketing speak, but also making them more modern brands.
So Amy, I am a cookie fanatic, and I've been able to taste your cookies and the texture and everything that you've been so thoughtful about. Like, what was important to you when you were creating this cookie to make sure that it could actually have appeal to the masses?
Brand is everything. That's also my background. Modern brands is, a lot of people are developing them more for, like I say, the Whole Foods crowd, but something that brings joy. We're literally called joy brands, and that's where food and just a snack. Our nutritionals were really important. We don't have sugar alcohols. Like I said, we worked with dietitians, and we're one of the few food companies who have started from that perspective, and also started from a gap in the market and research of actually what people miss most. And that's our first product. But I always say we're not just a cookie company, because we were building out what I call what actually a P&G should be, and focused on how do we start to integrate in a portfolio of companies that are treating medical and health concerns.
So one of our comments in the Q&A is, can we get free samples? So, you can talk about if there's a way to do that via the website. But the next one is amazing product and positioning. Love the branding as well. Can you talk about which payers are your targets that you might want to be connected to? So who's top on your list?
Thank you. I think it is open. I think a lot of payers are working on a lot of value-based care. And there's different sectors in that too. And I think it is which ones are more open to, having this as something that's part of their value-based care system and looking to innovate really around food. You have a lot of people in different places like the DMEs that are providing food to hospitals and things like that. And, but it's Glucerna and it's Ensure, and those are dominated by Abbott and antiquated systems, and resoundingly talking to anyone with any condition that's blood sugar related that's for old people, that's not for me. And nor would you want that sitting on your desk because it screams you have a chronic condition. And I always say one of the reasons, going back into your branding question, was the stuff that was marketed to me for cancer was absurd. It was somebody's idea of what I should look like. But the reality is that's just part of you. And so was something that we really had top of mind of this doesn't need to scream, you have diabetes.